What's up? I'm Mike Petrakis. I'm the founder and CEO of Batch, and I'm on a 60-foot yacht charter today, and it's Monday at 12 o'clock. I'm usually on Zoom for 6 to 8 hours on a Monday afternoon, so this is unbelievable. I'm here with Yeli, the owner, CEO, boss of Distraction Yacht Charters. She has an awesome story to tell, so let's get into it. Okay, I'm here with Yeli from Distraction Yachts. Yeli, thank you for having me. We're here in Miami. Life is good. It's a beautiful day, and it's Monday at noon as of this filming. I mean, come on.
It's like your friends. Like, who would want to be here on a Monday? I do, and every day.
I'm usually on Zoom for 6 hours on Monday, so this is unbelievable.
This is, I guess, my second office. This is my second one right here.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm happy to be out of my box. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, thank you for coming on board with us.
Thank you to the Batch team for letting me out of my cage today.
Anytime. I hope we get a little more sun, a little tan, you know?
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
Cheers right now.
Yeah, cheers. To getting sunburnt. Walk me through the business from the beginning. I want to know the OG story.
Know the OG story.
Yep.
Alrighty. So, Distraction Yachts. Wow, where do I even begin? I, myself, when I was 19 years old, I started working as a stewardess. I always had that ambition to be an entrepreneur and just start and have something for my own. When I was a stewardess, you would always rely on captains, and I'm
On a boat, not a plane, right?
on a boat. So
Okay.
this would be private owners, very
Okay.
wealthy people.
Okay.
I would serve them their drinks.
Okay.
I would be their own personal.
Would you drink their drinks ever?
No.
I worked at a country club one summer, and I would do that.
You would do that.
Eat their food a little bit, too. Yeah. Got to stick it to the man somehow.
Yeah, we definitely had a little advantages, but you definitely had to work your butt off, let's just say.
Yep.
But you know that waiting around for that phone call to get work for the week, that wasn't really my lifestyle. I mean, I always had that entrepreneurship. I had a business before ever boating, so I always
What was the business before?
I had an Etsy company. I sold cups.
Let's go.
COVID, yeah, Starbucks sold cups. I had my own little company in my garage. And I was there putting orders all by myself, and my mom helped me, so I was a little small.
What kind of cups?
Starbucks cups. I did like little
Cool.
personalizations of them. Yeah. Eventually, that unfortunately shut down. I lost that, so I was a little lost. And then my father, which is a captain today, he introduced me to the business. So I started working when I was 19.
Did you grow up around boats?
I did. I would say I was born and raised here in Miami, so all I knew was boats, right? Sunday was a day for boating.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah. Eventually, I mean, P.S., I was very traumatized with boats before even working, and there was no way you could put me on a boat.
What?
No way.
You just told me you grew up on boats every Sunday. It's like, that's your religion.
My father traumatized me. Sorry, father, but he traumatized me. So I just grew very, very traumatized with them. And then eventually he was like, there's money.
What scared you about boats?
It's just Miami people are just really reckless and just very, they just...
Safety.
Safety-wise.
Safety concern.
I'm a very nervous person, so all of that, I just overthink. But it's all right. Once I saw that there was money in this, all the scare just left away.
So what about the name Distraction Yachts?
Funny story, Distraction Yachts actually came to be because of my mom. We were sitting down on the counter one day, and we were just talking about just the boats, I guess. We had just started off, and I wanted to grow our Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just spinning out a bunch of names, and she's like, oh, what about Distraction? And I'm just like, we're just like, wow, Distraction, yeah, like, let's get lost in the right distraction.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, that's just such a unique name. I'm really into like unique names and like something that would stand out.
Right.
So I feel like
Saturated market here. You want to stand out.
like
right.
you definitely want to be known for something. When you see the word distraction, like you're distracted. You're in a place that you're just look at this.
Right. Right.
We're in Miami.
Right. So when did Distraction Yachts begin?
So it was 2022. We had just bought in gems in September 1st. I'll never forget that day. That it was just wow, just a miracle. Everything just was meant to happen. Everything was just falling into place.
Okay.
The Instagram just grew. We just got our first boat. My
How'd
father.
you grow the Instagram account?
That was my old Cross by Yeli Instagram.
Let's go. Nice.
So I just took that and I replaced it with Distraction Yachts, and it had a couple followers. So I was like, hell yeah, let's just take advantage.
Okay.
So, we all start from somewhere.
So would you say that's a unique skill set that you had?
Yes.
Where building a following and
Yeah.
an audience online with a cool creative vision?
Definitely. That was a good head start, I would say,
Okay.
to our Instagram having some followers and all of that. I started posting the boat. I mean, everything takes time. It wasn't just from one day to the next that happened. But eventually my father broke off with his business partner. He
Okay.
gave us, and then a second boat came into
He
play.
gives you the call,
Gives me the call. He
says, "You're my partner now."
You're my partner. You got to do this one way or the other. And
And then when I met you, I was shocked that I don't want to, stereotype or anything, but I could not believe your age. I cannot believe where you were at to take on a business like this at your age. It's
Yep.
wild. So impressive.
Thank you.
You talked to your dad and you said, "All right, let's do this thing."
Let's do this. I guess I wasn't really given a choice. It's either this or nothing. And I said, let's go for it. And from there on, I feel like I have put in all of my work to growing. At the end of the day, what I thought about is if I'm not feeding my parents, they're not going to live. So it's my job to make sure that they're getting bookings. It's my job.
Food on the table.
It's my job to do that. And that's where
Was that the objective? Drive bookings into this boat business that your dad had started with a business partner?
Yeah, because he was
Like-
by himself.
Yeah, give us the lay of the land at the time. What was the goal coming in?
At that age, all I thought about was my father is somebody that he knows English, but somebody that doesn't know how to get bookings. He just has a boat. He doesn't know how to
Right.
even get bookings.
Right.
So
It's probably an awesome captain, just does not know how to market his
captain,
business.
but just doesn't know how to market his business. So he's depending on me
Got it.
to make sure that he gets those bookings. And at that moment, it was just fight or flight.
Right.
For me, it was just making sure that he got what he needs, and I'm okay. If that makes any sense.
Right. You're the horsepower.
Yes.
You're like, you have this cool boat, but we have to figure out
We got to figure it
how
out.
to rev things up.
So from there on, I took it upon myself. I started posting a lot of videos on Instagram.
That you made,
Yeah, I
you
started.
created the content.
Yeah, because I was working on the boats here and then.
Yep.
So I took advantage and I started doing my own little content. I've always had an eye for that. I always liked that. So I grew, thankfully, by then. And then eventually we started networking out, and that's when we met Batch.
Okay. Did you have your own website and
No.
Instagram handle?
No,
Just Instagram.
just Instagram.
And you were getting bookings from Instagram through Yachts?
Just getting Instagram bookings. Yes.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now we have a really cool boat. You know how to market it. You're learning how to sell it effectively. And then for the experience itself, what's the product? Why is this differentiated from other boats?
I would say Miami is very overly saturated with yachts nowadays.
Yep.
But what makes Distraction Yachts stand out as a business, I would say, is the experience and the quality that you're getting in the experience itself.
Yeah.
Not only do we have a dedicated team that really wants and values our clients to make sure that they get off and they have an amazing experience, but apart from them being able to do decorations,
Right.
catering,
Right.
we just want to be that one-stop shop where they can come and get their yacht, get their Airbnb, get their transportation. And just as far as the experience of the yacht itself, I would say our dedicated crew members just make sure, because from the moment that the client steps on board, they're greeted with smiles, they're greeted with that attention that I would say not every yacht charter
Right.
business will do here in Miami.
Right.
A lot of these owners are very just give me your money, get on my boat,
Right.
and let's just head out.
Right. And anybody can talk about their speaker system or their
Exactly.
water pad thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. How'd you find Batch, or did we find you?
Ooh. That was actually, we found you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
I think it was on Instagram. You guys had about less than 100K followers.
Okay.
And we were outsourcing. We were looking for new ways to grow
Yeah.
because all these other apps are just overly saturated.
Yeah.
And then we found Batch.
Okay.
We're like, wow, look at this place.
This is much more fun.
This is much more fun. We saw that you guys had some yachts listed. And we're like, let's give them a shot.
Right.
So we emailed you guys, and then that's when everything just poof, came into play. When we started Batch, which was around, I think, 2022 or 2023,
Okay.
We had just uploaded 2 yachts.
Okay.
And now we have 7.
Oh my God.
So we're growing.
To the moon.
To the moon.
So you're a young boss.
I am a young boss.
Yeah.
I am a 23-year-old boss.
So what I find super impressive is you found Batch and you found out how to take advantage of the Batch platform. We'll talk through all that in a second. You learned how to market the business. You learned how to sell the business. You learned how to create more efficiencies within the business. You learned how to staff up.
Yeah.
Who are you getting all this advice from?
If it wasn't for my team, I wouldn't be here today. But
Just the support network.
Just
It's
the
a family
support network.
business. You got everybody
I would
involved.
say that
Yeah.
every one of those individuals have driven me to be the person that I am today and have made me, want more for them. Because at the end of the day, if the boats don't go out, they don't make money. So it all falls on me at the end of
Right.
the day.
So what happens when shit goes wrong? When you have 7 boats out?
It's the most stressful day of my life.
I mean, how do you deal with that?
It's the most stressful day. I don't even want to talk.
Somebody's out on the channel, jumps into the water, they drink too much,
Oh,
malfunction
God
with the
forbid.
boat.
God forbid. I mean, I've had occasions where I've had boats that don't start. Not mine. This was back when I started and I was, had to put on other clients and other owners' yachts. And that's something that I hate doing because I have to depend on other people to look good as a business. And, that one time I was just starting out, I had booked these clients on another owner's. The boat did not want to start.
Oh no.
Not want to start. And it was like an hour in, they were already looking at me with like faces, and I'm just like, I gotta resolve now. Like, I have to do something. So I put them on another boat, but still, it's a very stressful moment.
Right. Yeah, you're hitting the engine, you're like, oh
What
no.
else do I want to do? And I promise you it was just a simple button down there that they did not turn on. But there's come occasions that, these boats they're not always going to be perfect, and there's always going to be a little malfunction. You have a generator, sometimes get clogged. Well, that's more of like for the maintenance person to know about. But at those moments and in those situations when you have the clients there waiting, it just makes it very stressful. But thankfully, we've been able to manage, and regardless, our crew gets here an hour before just to make sure that those problems don't happen when they get there.
Right.
To avoid any of those problems.
Right.
But yeah.
So you have become one of the top partners on Batch.
Thank you.
And
Yep.
I'm so happy to see it. And I'd love to understand a little bit of the work that you have put in to make it so successful on the platform. So, when I look at your experiences, it looks like you're constantly testing the product titles, you're testing the descriptions, the product add-on options, and what you're offering, the pricing, and then most importantly, the content that you're putting out to make sure it resonates with our customer.
For sure.
So am I in line with that analysis? Like, walk me through some of the steps that you have taken to make sure that you have your best foot forward to the audience.
I would say that content is one of the number one. People really like to see what goes on the yachts, and that's what's the selling point. So I would say that I try to put out there the most that I can. But not only that, it's just like the add-ons as far as what makes us different from other charter companies.
Like what?
Like decorations,
Yep.
catering. That's what I do. That's
Yep.
what I specialize in. Since I did have my cup business,
Yep.
I also miss
Yeah.
that creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, the creativeness. And that's what I love doing. So the decorations part is all me. And I feel like I've grown that into the name of distraction. Because I don't only want to be that charter company. I also want to be known as that person that you go to cater to decorate for your bachelorette or for your birthday party. I mean, not only that, but I feel like offering those unique listings have made us set aside unique. from all the other listings and have made us grow to the top.
Right. So it's the combination of great content paired with add-on services that make the experience so special.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
That's what makes it stand out.
That's what makes it stand out. Not a lot of charter businesses do decorations or have your catering, and I feel like that's just something
I felt like when I walked in, it said welcome batch.
Thank you.
There's a line of shots ready. I mean, come on.
That's so welcoming. Like, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes.
I would like to envision this as if it was my experience. I mean, of course, but you pay such a luxury price on this.
Right.
Why not make it something that's so unforgettable and so nice and unique to your experience? And
then in terms of leveraging, working with our team or looking at the data or observing trends, is there anything that you found useful or impactful to the business as you've continued to grow?
You guys have such a great system as far as analytics wise. We've been able to see what works, what doesn't work, which that's such an impactful and helpful thing when it comes to a business and how to run it. I would say trends. As far as I know, you guys don't only focus on bachelorettes, but as far as any type of occasion that anybody's celebrating, any type of trends that's going on, it's very helpful to be posting like on social media and the clicks that work.
Yep.
That's definitely been helping us out as far as following the trends that there is now and just viewing what works and what doesn't.
I think you're just constantly in touch with the team after you're testing no experience.
Too. I'm on the phone with Rachel all day and every day. Shout out to you, Rachel. Stop it. She's definitely been a help. I feel like everyone in the batch team has really just made an impact in our business, has branded Distraction Yachts to what it is now. Miami has so much more to offer than the nightclubs. I feel like we have evolved. Miami has evolved from the night scenery. It has grown the day, the ambience of the day, and just more things to do.
You're less hungover if you start drinking at noon and go to sleep at 9 o'clock.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So just go on the yacht.
Right. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think that's a strong selling point, personally. I'm so happy to see as Batch has expanded beyond just bachelorette parties into all different party types that you are seeing an influx of bookings from all these party types. That's great.
Definitely.
That's what it's all about. And the last part of our story here is you have built such a great business and you learned how to market, you learned how to sell it, you learned how to stand out from competition and figure out what makes it special. So it just gives us so much confidence to, push all of our parties to experiences like yours because it's wonderful. We know that our parties are going to have such a great time on your experience.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for making something so awesome.
Of course, it's our pleasure. Not only have we grown, but just the analytics of Batch itself, the way that we're able to track where our bookings and how many clicks and all of that is so helpful when it comes to a business.
Right.
So Batch has honestly just been our number one since day one. Ever since we joined in 2022, I would say, with our first listing. Ever since we upped that first listing, we got our first booking that first month. So ever since day one, it's just been growing and growing and growing and growing, and we've never seen a problem. And it's just, you guys are so great to work with.
Awesome.
And it's just the best of both worlds.
So we played a little role in helping get this from 2 boats to 7.
Oh, I would say I'm not gonna tell you, 20%. But yeah, definitely we have seen. If it weren't for Batch, we wouldn't be where we are today in a sense. Not only you guys have played such a big role, believe it or not, in our sales and everything. Just Batch overall is just a great company that someone can go to and book, and just the most reliable type of source.
Yep.
So that was amazing.
Look, we are lucky to work with great partners like you. We care a lot about the businesses that we work with, not just as the business, but as the human being. So it's awesome that you've developed the relationships that you have with our team. I think that's a great note to end on. I really appreciate walking us through your story. I think you are such a great entrepreneur with how you have learned how to market, how to sell, how to deliver a product that stands out in a crowded market. So I think it's an inspiring story to a lot of entrepreneurs. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Mike.